Hello and welcome to another episode of Swim Sets by the Pool. My name is Nathan Cohen. I'm a professional triathlete and I've been helping people learn how to swim better for about 10 years now. With me, as always, Greg Harper.
What's up, Nate? Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm Greg Harper. I'm also a professional triathlete and been around swimming my whole life, swam in the Olympic trials, and yeah, I'm just passionate about helping people get better at swimming. And Nate and I together make a good duo, and we're hoping that you can have some swim inspiration from us, have a little workout that you can take to the pool, and yeah, learn a couple things on the way. So thanks for joining.
Yeah, swimming's hard. We know that. We've been doing it for a while. It's still hard, even though we have the experience. But yeah, we're just trying to give that knowledge to the people and give you guys free swim workouts. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Greg, you got a quick tip for us to start us off?
Yeah, and you might think like if you were a triathlete, this doesn't really apply to you, but my quick tip is safely and under the rules of the pool, practice some dives. Um, we said this before on a previous episode, but diving, when you dive into the pool, that's also the fastest you'll ever be in the pool if you hold that tight streamline. So giving yourself a chance to try to sustain that high speed, that will help you over time. And if you're doing triathlons and there's a beach run or an Aussie exit, I mean, that's if you're maybe a high level pro. Um, Dolphin diving, where you kind of dive and do dolphins and into the ocean or into the beach, or you start in waist deep of water, you still do a half little dive. So I think it's a really important skill. And if I'm next to you and I'm a great diver and we do five little dolphin dives to get into the ocean, I'm going to be way ahead. And that's just free speed. It's just a skill. You don't even have to be that fit for it. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's my quick tip. Practice your dive. It will help you in many ways.
Yeah, actually, thinking about that, I watched the T100 Alcatraz triathlon the other day, and some of the pros didn't even dive off the boat. Now it was like 2.5 meters, so that's pretty high. That's, I don't know, like 6 feet or something.
I've
But
done it. It can be deceptively and you can go down. But yeah, I saw that too. It's just like yeah, I mean, you just gave away 2 seconds. I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's at the beginning of a race, but why would you ever want to give away time for
hmm
free? Right?
yeah,
So it is interesting.
yeah. And then also on the other side of the spectrum, one of my athletes who I coach just did his first Ironman and completed it off of only 5 months of swim training with me. He was not a swimmer at all. And he swam like 138 in the ocean, no wetsuit.
All right. There you
Yeah,
go.
so he felt really good about it. He actually negative split. It was a 2 lap swim, and he swam like 3 minutes faster on the second lap. So
Wow, that's wild.
yeah,
Wow, you
so
paced it right too. That's great. Good work, Coach Nate.
yeah, it was really solid. But yeah, that had an Aussie exit, and I had him practice some dives into the ocean. So yeah, practice your
Yeah.
dives.
I mean, I did this little start. We started at Boulder. I raced the, per 70.3 the other week, last weekend in Boulder. And as a pro, there were 80 men, but it's like, it was really congested. We were starting waist high. And it's like, I just jumped and dove like slightly and like took a couple good strokes and had like clean water immediately. So it's like, I was next to Chase McQueen. Then we ended up coming out first. And it really set us up well for the whole day and changed the kind of dynamics of the swim because we got out so good. Um, so yeah, anyway, like you said, little things like that can yeah, play a big role sometimes, and diving's fun.
It
Like
is fun. Yeah.
ripping starts and like do 25 all out from a dive, like it's fun. I mean, don't rip it too hard so you don't strain yourself, like work into a little bit, but
hmm
yeah, it's a fun time for sure.
Yeah, sweet. So today's swim set we got, this is actually a swim set from back when I was doing a training camp in Dubai earlier this year. Um, yeah, this was a typed out swim set stuck to the diving block, and the warm up is 200 meters freestyle plus 100 meters kick, 200 pull, 100 kick, and then 200 pull with paddles plus 100-meter kick. We've got over this before, but I guess pull for me means paddles also, like pull buoy and paddles. But for some people, I guess it's just pull buoy.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Yeah, I would, it would say pull without paddles. Like that's how
Yeah.
I would, right?
hmm
Um, right. And then actually it's a 100-meter freestyle on the last thing. But
Oh,
yeah, so
100-meter
it's
freestyle. Yeah.
it's solid. It's 900.
hmm
Yeah, I mean, in terms of a warm up, I think it's fine. I don't particularly like to use paddles in the beginning of the workout, but it's kind of some people like to maybe to like activate, and I think it's
Hmm.
personal preference a little bit. I like to put on paddles at towards the end when,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just how I like to roll. I don't like to swim with after using paddles that much, but yeah, it's got a little free, it's got a little kick, got a little pull. I mean, there's nothing to get your heart rate up or like moving your body, like maybe some IM or something like that. So
Hmm.
that could maybe be added, but yeah, it's fine. I would just say it's just like a solid average warm up, but you're not going to be super ready when you're done with it.
Yeah, I actually do a lot of 200s in my warm-ups. Like I usually start with like 1 200 just swimming, like super slow. And then I'll do a 200 with just the buoy. And then I'll maybe do some stroke because Greg has been talking about doing stroke in the warm-up. So I've started doing a little bit more. Um,
Yeah, I'm convincing. I'm
yeah,
convincing.
yeah. So we'll see. I'm actually getting slower, guys. Don't you? No,
I
we'll
never
see.
swam slower.
Yeah. No, it's actually going well. But yeah, so I like the 200s. I like that there's no interval. Like usually or in a lot of the swim sets we've done so far, people have like done like a 15 seconds rest or something like interval in the warm up and we're just like, nah, just feel it out, Listen to your body on the day.
Totally. And we are always hyping on that. And yeah, that's a really good point. The no interval, feel it out, take it slow.
Yeah, I think it's a good warm up. I would The only thing is probably just take out the paddles, and maybe drop the pull buoy on the third one. So I would do 200 swim, kick, 200 with the pull buoy kick, and then 200 without the pull buoy. Oh, and then you do the 100-meter freestyle at the end. So I don't know. I would just drop that one too, I guess.
Yeah. And
Or
in
do,
the end, it's like
yeah,
there's a little mixed strokes at the very end, but the next main set's all freestyle as well. Although it doesn't
yeah.
specifically say. So, if you can get a 50 back or a 100 back, kind of open up those lats or something on that last 100 or like that last 200, I think that
Yeah.
would probably would be beneficial for pretty much everyone.
Okay. How about the last 100 backstroke?
Yeah, that's perfect
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've been getting a little bit better at backstroke. I used to be really bad. Like I would always just swallow a bunch of water. But your quick tip a couple weeks ago was practice floating. So on my
Mm.
backstroke, I'm practicing like sinking my chest into the water a little to float my hips up. And it's actually working pretty well. So I think
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, and it's kind of the same freestyle. You have to push a little bit to get your hips up, but in the back you have to kind of like, yeah, push back a little bit. I mean, we don't want to bury ourselves or like bury your back,
yeah.
but like it's that kind of give, and that's the relationship with the water that you have
Hmm.
to experience and make by doing exactly what you did, practice floating. So that's fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So pretty stoked on that. Yeah, maybe one day we'll race a 400 IM and I'll crush you. We'll
Yeah.
see.
All right. Hey, I hope so. I hope so.
No, that'd be cool. But yeah, so then yeah, so that's a good warm up. And then main set is 4x50 descend 1 through 4. Um, I would use that as like a preset. I think that's a good little just thing to throw in there before you start the main set is like a little bit of descending, shift through gears a little bit. I do that in a lot of my warm ups. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And we kind of see this next set too, and it starts with fast. So, I
Yeah.
mean, this 450s is essentially finishing off the warm up for this person, and it should,
Hmm.
put it at the end of the warm up or say it's a preset or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then the next part of the main set kind of has a pattern. So it goes 250s fast in capitals as you can, and then a 50 easy, then 350s fast as you can, 50 easy, 450s as fast as you can, 50 easy, and then 250s faster than ever in
Exclamation
caps.
mark, exclamation
Two
mark.
two exclamation marks. Um, and yeah, it says 20 to 30 seconds rest between 50s. So in total, we got 7, 10, about 14 50s,
Hmm.
and 9 of them are fast. Um,
Super
so
fast.
yeah, yeah, super, this isn't casual, guys. This is real stuff.
Yeah. And it says 20 to 30 seconds rest between each 50s. And I'm pretty sure at the pool this day, it was 50 meters long course. So there's no
Hmm.
flip turn. It's just a 50 of swimming. Um, I would
Way
not,
better.
I would, yeah, 50-meter actually is a lot better. This is a good set for a 50-meter pool, but I think 20 to 30 seconds rest is not enough if you're going that fast, faster than ever.
Yeah. Well, and it's like it's kind of like what the author wanted to get out of it too. Like if you want them to be really, really fast, like maybe 20, 30 seconds on the two, but then you get to the three and yeah, maybe double your time plus a little bit. So if you're gonna swim 40, maybe you do it on the 120 or 130, you kind of get more than double the amount you're swimming. I think that's like a good marker for super fast swimming. But there's also times where you do hundreds on the 4 minute or something, right? I mean, take a lot of rest. So, if you were to do a set like this, you say, hey, do I want to go fast or do I want to like get slightly slower and have it more, I don't know, less rest, maybe a little more aerobically taxing in the in between. So, but I think they want you to go fast based on what they wrote, and I would agree that you probably need to increase the rest a little bit.
Yeah. I think what I would also switch up is maybe start with 450s and then do three, two, and then just one really, really fast. Because if you're trying to go faster than ever, it's like, it's people will not go faster than ever for that first 50. And that last one, they'll be like, this is the one I'm actually going to go faster than ever.
Yes,
So,
Sally save up, right? It's that
yeah,
second to
yeah.
last one.
So if you
No, I like
just
that.
do,
That's a better flow. That's a better flow for sure.
yeah, so if you just do one, then you can really commit to it and you're like, okay, it's just one. Like, then I'm chilling after this. So, yeah, I think it allows you to get the most out of it.
Yeah. And, so if we're going to start with four, then do one easy, then three, I like as fast as you can right off the bat. I'd like to see someone say 90%, 95%, just
Mm,
because people tend to force it a little. And, yeah, I have seen some scientific evidence, like random studies, right? Like placebo or whatever it is. But when you tell a group of people to go at 95% or 100, they'll end up actually running similar or being even a little faster on the 95, and their perceived effort is lower. So to just be maybe the last one, blast it, right? On that, 4, 3, 2, 1, the one, just go as hard as you can, try to go faster. But on the four, it's like, let's be really freaking good on this, but don't go all out because you'll probably be more efficient and less wasted energy. And then you can kind of complete the set as intended, I would say.
hmm. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty accurate. Just from my experience, is starting in that 90 to 95% range is it just like mentally is easier, you know? And it allows you to not put as much pressure on yourself to swim a certain time because everyone I feel like has an idea of like, oh, like I should be swimming this. Like this is a fast 50 for me. Like I'm sure if people swam competitively, they remember they're like 50 PB or something. So it's like it just takes a little bit of the pressure off and allows you to kind of work into the set a little bit.
Yeah, and you can find a little bit of that easy speed. I mean, I've heard that term so much in swimming
Hmm.
over my life, and it's like if you're doing a 200 free, it's whatever, say it's 2 minutes. That first 100 needs to be easy freaking speed where you're going fast, but you're controlled. Because if you sound crazy, but if you overdo it in the first 30 seconds, that last 30 seconds is absolute hell.
That's how I
So
swam every
I,
200 in college.
yeah, exactly. And like you said, you can kind of work into it, and finishing fast is usually better than dying. I mean, there's
Hmm.
maybe a case in point where you want to try to go. Like, if you've done this before, you say, I'm going for these times today. I know I've done this. Fine, shoot for the stars. But more often than not, and it goes to the triathlon and training in general. It's like start at a level that you know you can finish. And if you feel good, you can keep going faster or stronger or whatever it is. And I think that's a really smart way to like structure training, swimming in general, to be honest.
Hmm. Yeah. Last thing about the main set, since we kind of talked about switching up, starting with four, going down to one. What do you think about 50s in general for swim sets?
I like them a lot. I mean, especially long course. I think 50s are a super good way to. Yeah, have a quick reset. I mean, this is a different set versus like 50s with short rest or something, but yeah, I mean, triathletes in general doing intervals that are way too long and they're not keeping their strokes together. So, reinforcing bad habits like doing 50s with short rest and kind of resetting the stroke and practicing good mechanics, then you're accumulating more time. Like the breaks is it's just not that important, especially if you're really trying to improve your technique. Um, everyone can go and do 10 300s, fine. But 50, like I would much rather see someone do 40 50s with intention because you can get freaking fit. Like I don't know if I said this to you off air or not, but I was like, I could get someone set their Ironman best time 50s and under, no other intervals. I guarantee, as Charles Barkley says, I guarantee it. I could totally do that and they would change their life and they would switch their swim. So I'm glad you asked me that, Nate, because I am actually pretty passionate about 50s.
Nice. So sweet. That's the main set, you guys. Of course, we're gonna type it up in the show notes so you can see all of our edits. You don't have to like write it down and take notes. We already took the notes for you. They're right below. But there's a second main set to this, and it's super simple. It's just 4x200 meters, pull buoy and paddles, 30 seconds rest. And then there's a little note that says, these are all easy, just focus on catching the water.
So when they say catching the water, what does that mean to you?
So I think when I think catching the water, it just is that first part of your stroke where you're setting up and then just like trying to get your arm as flat as possible so you can push the water back. If you think about like
Right. So it's like it's
yeah.
flat and pointing behind you, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like a if you think about a paddle on a boat, it's pretty flat or
Mm.
like a kayak or whatever. Um and the faster you go is like getting that paddle as flat as possible and like pushing it back, you know.
Yeah, maximize that surface area, right?
Yeah.
No, I like that. And something I really have enjoyed is like called early vertical forearm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the same thing, but right, people can like visualize it maybe a little bit more and it's like, well, vertical forearm. It's like, yeah, your hand and your elbow, things are pointed toward the bottom, so you maximize that surface area so you can move yourself back. Most people kind of like I heard this term pet the cat or like, I mean, you can picture petting a cat. That's the opposite of what you want to do, right? You would
Yeah.
want to like be pushing something behind you, not like petting a cat that's dropping the elbow. So that's kind of what it means to me, like catching that water. You're setting that anchor, that early vertical forearm, like you said, maximizing that surface area. Yeah, I think it's great to have a little, just a cue sometimes randomly for everyone, like, oh, keep your head still. And everyone's like, oh, I'll think about that. So
Hmm.
yeah, I love that actually.
Yeah, I definitely like the cue. I like the 4x200s pull with paddles on 30 seconds rest. Like I wouldn't change that at all. I would just keep that. Like it's a cool thing to do at the
Yeah,
end of the set, and I like that it's
100%.
200s. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's long course too. You can kind of stretch it out, maybe work on your distance per stroke if you need to. Yeah, and I like pulling at the end, so I'm on board.
Yeah, I think it's super good. And yeah, one more thing on the catch is this is something I struggled with for a long time when I was really like trying to swim better. And I had a huge disconnect between my hand and my forearm. So my hand would try and like bend and like get the water first. Or like I'm sure
Hmm.
like some of you taking swim lessons, your swim instructor told you to do like ice cream scoops or something like that. So I was
Bro.
like I was trying to do that when I was like 20 years old and like trying to learn how to swim. It was like ice cream scoops, but it caused my hand to like bend at the wrist, which is not what you want to do when you're swimming. Like you want a
Nope.
really strong fingertip to elbow when you're catching that water. So,
100%. Yeah. No, it's so funny. I used to teach swimming and like we do ice cream scoops. I can remember this one girl like literally doing breaststroke and like scooping it into her mouth. I'm like, all right, that's too far.
you would
Like, no,
drink the
that's
water. Oh.
like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy like that because, people might have a little bit of swim background, like, oh, and things stick like
Hmm.
that. You just remember one snippet of information from one coach and especially if you're younger, they like, oh, streamline way behind. Like, there's things you tell kids to when they're learning that are actually incorrect.
Hmm.
So sometimes, like you're like just ice cream scooping as a 20-year-old. Like, oh,
Yeah.
no, that was actually we're out on that at age 9. But like, I'm glad,
Yeah.
like,
I just love ice cream.
It's just like, oh, it just resonates with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super funny you bring that up though.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, now you know. Fingertip to elbow, you want that to be flat. That's
Yeah,
fast.
same plane. Hmm.
Yeah, same plane. And yeah, so we're gonna keep that 4x200 pull with paddles, nice and easy. Like if you're feeling good, maybe like swim a little bit faster. I think when you're swimming with paddles though, you have to swim with a little bit of intention. You don't want to just be like flopping about with the paddles, not like
Totally
doing
agree.
recovery stuff. I feel like you need to be swimming like a little bit more intentionally.
I would agree. And you've already been fast that day, so like this is a quality workout. And if you're still feeling a little bit good at the end, you're right. Like, oh, squeeze it down. Hey, maybe we descend the pulls to strong if you're feeling good.
Hmm.
And I think that's, you're kind of adding work on an already work day. And if you're feeling good, that's totally a good, yeah, acceptable and a smart thing to do from like a training perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And then the cool down for the set is just 300 easy mixed strokes
First mixed strokes of the workout. At the end.
at the end in the cool down. Maybe it's like
I like
backstroke easy
I
and
like it though.
breaststroke.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
move your body around, like try to flush out. I mean, you probably get a little lactate buildup from the 50s fast if you did them correctly. So, yeah, just kind of feel the flow, I guess.
Yeah, I like breaststroke just doing it easy in the pool. Like I had a really hard track workout running the other day and my legs were so sore and doing the breaststroke kick like really helped stretch them out. I feel like it was good.
Yeah, and it's a different, you're moving in different ways too. I mean, especially running and cycling, it's just so one dimensional, like forward, forward, forward. Like doing a little breaststroke, if you can do it properly and, not like in a weird way that messes with your knees. I mean, we don't move that way. So, I mean, if you're a triathlete, right? So, yeah, I think it's not a bad idea to kind of shake out some of that work you're doing.
Yeah, so that's the whole set, and we're gonna end like we always do with a hot take, and it's my hot take this week, you guys.
Nate's hot take. Let's go.
So I don't know how hot it's gonna be, but we'll see. So my hot take is I wrote it down. Let me see. Oh, okay, my hot take
He's
is
nervous.
I'm nervous, you guys. I'm not as spicy as Greg is with the swimming because I'm not as confident that what I'm saying is the right thing. Hot take: stop using the excuse of I didn't swim as a kid for why you aren't a good swimmer. You just haven't put in enough work yet to be good.
Oh, mic drop.
So yeah, all I'm trying to say is I didn't grow up swimming competitively. I didn't swim in high school. I never swam on a team until my triathlon coach told me to join the community college swim team in Ventura. And I had to learn how to flip turn in between preseason and main season. Um, so yeah, it was a lot of work. We were swimming like 40 to 50K a week, like 10 swims, 3 times in the gym. But you know what? I got really fast after that. So
And that's work. Yeah. That's a valiant effort, really. And you've come so far. And that's, to me, as someone who's been around this sport for a long time and honestly was pretty good as a 6-year-old, um, that's more impressive. Like, yeah, it's good. I've gone really fast, but coming in as an adult and like actually doing the work, it's much harder than biking and running to get good at. So you have to be disciplined and you have to do it. And most people say they want to, but they don't understand what it's going to take. And you've done it. So honestly, man, like, and you're still going, like you're not satisfied. So that's really impressive and inspiring, man. So
yeah,
yeah, hats off to you, to be honest. Yeah.
thanks.
And hot take, tell them how it is.
Yeah. And also, the last thing I gotta say about this is looking at the Ironman Pro 70.3s recently, Lionel Sanders won, Sam Long won one, Trevor Foley. None of these guys were competitive swimmers at a young age. Like quite the opposite. And they
Hmm.
have all been swimming a bunch to be able to be in sight of those like good swimmers, quote unquote. And
Yeah.
they aren't just there. Like I remember when like Lionel was always just like out the back, And now I see people who used to be ahead of Lionel coming out behind Lionel because
Yeah.
Lionel's putting in the work in his swim and those other people are just kind of like staying at the same spot and they're just like, "Oh, I'm just not a good swimmer." No,
Yeah,
you haven't put in the work yet.
haven't put in the work yet. 100%. They're like, yeah, well, dude, yeah, you're preaching to the choir. I have very strong opinions about that, and uh, yeah, yeah, and people put in the work, and it works. You know, there's success stories of people like not, swimming 60K weeks. I mean, I feel like the perception of yardage is a little skewed in triathlon, and real swimmers swim a lot, guys, like 20, 25 hours of swimming. So yeah, get on it.
Yeah. And that's the end of our episode. As always, we're gonna have the full swim set edited for you guys, nice and clean. In the show notes, we're on YouTube if you want to see who has a better cap tan, me or Greg. He's in
I don't wear a cap.
California. You don't wear a cap. All right, see,
No,
I got
wear
these
a cap.
I got these luscious locks. I gotta
What
wear
am
a
I, a
cap.
Gen Zer out here? I don't wear a cap.
I just wear a cap with a big number on it, just to flex on people and no one knows what it
Yeah.
means.
Yeah, like look at this dork.
Yeah, I'm like,
Uh
I got this at a world championships. No one cares.
yeah.
But anyways, um, so yeah, follow us on YouTube and our Instagram and stuff. We're gonna be posting all these things. But yeah, listen to another episode if you want another swim set and share it with your friend. See ya.
Peace out.